We're starting off from the unfortunate attack on our brothers and sisters who went to trade in Burkina Faso. We understand the death toll has risen to 8.
Yeah.
The president has spoken and announced evacuation of the injured to Ghana. But let's look at the matter holistically, considering our border security, our inter-country sharing of intelligence, and the possible impact on trade, especially tomato imports from Burkina Faso. What do you make of this attack, and how do you see it impacting us as a people?
Thank you so much, my brother. Let me begin by saying a very good morning to your cherished viewers and, of course, listeners. And also to extend my good morning to my boss, the Venerable Minister for Labour, Employment and Jobs, Dr. Alhaji Rashida Sampelipo, who just returned from Ethiopia yesterday night. I wish him well and his family. And my brother, let me hasten to also say a very good morning to my senior, Honorable Hamza Suhini, in whose stead I am here to represent him in this program. So wherever he is, I wish Honorable Hamza Suhini well and his family. My brother, it is instructive to note that when it has to do with security and peace relative to Ghanaians, it is our onerous responsibility as government to ensure that every Ghanaian citizen enjoy peace and is secured wherever he is, whether you are in the country or whether you are outside the country.
True.
We must ensure that you are protected. We must ensure that you are not exploited. And we must ensure that you enjoy all the peace and harmony that you deserve. And we do so by, passing through or abiding by the legal rudiments of the system. So let me sympathize with the families of those who lost their lives relative to this reckless terrorist attack in Burkina Faso. It is a sad day for Ghana. It is a sad day for Africa, and for that matter, West Africa. You know, broad border trade is something that hasn't started today.
Yeah.
It has been with us since time immemorial.
True.
And so one cannot prevent a citizen from other country from trading in your country. So Ghana has been a member of ECOWAS, and for that matter has that leverage for its citizens to trade in other countries. So Ghana and Burkina Faso has been cordially engaging in trade, and we haven't seen or heard of such nature of incident before. So it's rather unfortunate. We condemn the act, the government condemns it, and we regret whatever happens. But however, what is government doing? Government is ensuring that this has to do with diplomacy. You know, Burkina Faso is a sovereign nation.
True. And
every sovereign nation has the right to protect its citizens within its territorial area. You cannot send your police or your security men to enter into another sovereign state to effect, or to enforce your laws. What you do is to tighten your diplomatic ties, to do engagement, make sure that you do broad consultation to ensure that the peace that these countries enjoy is not mad. So what the government of Ghana is doing is using her diplomatic ties to negotiate with the government of Burkina Faso to ensure that those affected citizens of Ghana are evacuated, in fact medically evacuated to Ghana for treatment. And government is committed to doing that, and they have already started the negotiations, and everything is moving on steadily. I am aware that the government of Burkina Faso is cooperating with the Ghana government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that there are no more injuries, there are no more attacks. It is rather unfortunate about the incident that happened, to the fact that we lost about, yesterday I heard about 7, but this morning when I woke up, it risen to 8. It is not justified for us to even lose a single life.
At all.
To lose a single life, not to talk about 8 Ghanaian citizens. It's rather unfortunate, and we condemn that act. And going forward, we don't want such act to repeat itself again. Whilst, conforming to the rules and regulations of the ECOWAS. And we should not also lose sight of the fact that Sahel African countries, and more importantly, Burkina Faso and the rest,
Mali.
The issues of insecurity in those areas cannot be underestimated.
True.
We have had pockets of violence and other terrorist attacks within those areas. What government of Ghana has to do is to strengthen our security network, is to ensure that wherever our citizens are protected, and we strengthen our laws and make sure that it doesn't deteriorate our economic ties and our diplomatic ties with neighboring countries. And by so doing, it will inure to the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian, and we will be protected.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's say good morning to Awal. Awal Mohammed is a member of the NPP's National Communications Team. Awal, good morning. Good to see you.
Good
welcome.
To see you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You really mentioned my name. That's the pronunciation.
Awal.
Yes.
Yes. But most people tend to say Awal.
Yes.
Yeah, Awal.
Even myself, when I'm telling people, I tend to say Awal because that's how they will be able to identify me.
Yeah, so we're learning by the day. We're learning small. But
yes,
welcome.
Yes.
There's the issue of this unfortunate attack in Burkina Faso. Unfortunately, we lost 8 of our compatriots who were there just to trade, to actually bring in food so you and I can get some to eat. The government has made some commitments to medically evacuate the injured and bring them back home for treatment. We understand that some DNA or forensic testing will be done to identify those who have been burnt and all. But we have an envoy to the Sahel regions. Government has appointed an envoy to the Sahel regions. How much of a responsibility does such an unfortunate attack place on him?
Thank you so much, and good morning, cherished viewers, and good morning to my brother. We've not met for a while.
Yeah.
I think let's begin by saying condolences to the families and Ghanaians in general. And I can say that this one, you may not blame anyone on this, looking at the incident and where it happened. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that is the reason they had to really go through this unfortunate incident. If you look at the trading between us and Burkina Faso, this is not the first time they are going there. They go there almost every year, and this trade has been there for a long while. But the only thing I see in this is that we in the ruling elite have really disappointed the people of this country.
Really?
Yes, the reason being that if you look at Burkina Faso, a landlocked country, where we go to import tomatoes, when tomatoes can be planted everywhere in this country, even in Accra here, everywhere in this country you can plant tomato. And if at this point in time we still import tomatoes into this country, that's why I'm saying that the ruling elites have really disappointed the people of this country. Because you see, one of the reasons that the Akufo-Addo government tried to introduce the one village, one dam has to do with all year round farming. And again, livestock too will get water to drink. If you're enough, he understands this very well. During the dry season, animals even die because they don't even get water to drink. So that one village, one dam was just for us to make sure that at least we protect our animals and get people to do all year round.
Did it materialize?
It did, but you see, unfortunately, we did not construct it in such a way that it does not dry out completely. That is the only challenge. We did small earth dams. Where you get animals to drink their water, but for them to use it for irrigation, a lot of the places they couldn't use them. And again, at a point in time, it dries out. So what we were expecting is that at least the government that has taken over promised to do Yeridua. If you check the NDC manifesto, they promised that they will do what is called the Yeridua, where they will target onion and tomatoes. And this was launched last year by the president. What has happened to it? We're thinking that, well, with this, we'll be able to really scale up our production, especially within the period. Because even these traders will tell you that if it's the rainy season in the north, they do not travel to Burkina Faso again. They still buy it around Navrongo and other places because they still they also sow the same seeds.
So there will be increased yield when there's available
so if
water.
we are able to really increase yield, it will help us. Again, when you look at the Palugu Dam, there are two things that the Palugu Dam will do. One is that the water spillage from the Bagre Dam, where they used to do the plantation of these tomatoes, will be able to really absorb that water. Then we use it for irrigation and electricity, because we felt that when we're able to really get all this water, we can even use it for electricity and this one. Unfortunately, it became a political issue. The contract was signed in 2019. We started everything in 2019. It was approved by Parliament in 2020 before COVID-19. And after COVID-19, you knew that getting credit from other countries became difficult. The Chinese company were given $12 million as mobilization, even though the mobilization was supposed to be around 48 million for the first phase of the project. They were given 12 million. It became a political football to the extent that when this government came, they promised the people, when they were even campaigning in 2024, when they went to the northeastern Upper East, they promised them that when they come, they will continue the dam. Because it is not a dam that Akufo-Addo really thought about it. It is something that predates Akufo-Addo. It is Kwame Nkrumah when he was planning to do it. Then Akufo-Addo came and said, let's take the bull by the horn and do everything possible. So when you check the contract, it is $993 million. That is the sum of the contract. But the first phase, second phase, and the third phase. You see, so now the government came in, they have terminated the contract.
But we were told that work had been done. A whole parliamentary committee moved there to inspect, and there was absolutely nothing.
It was a mobilization for the first phase. And again, we saw there were pictures of when the contractor even moved in. And they said he was paid for 12 million out of the $48 million. You understand?
For mobilization.
For mobilization. He's supposed to be paid 48 million.
For the first phase.
Yes, for the first phase.
And mobilization alone.
No, that is the mobilization. Mobilization alone was $48 million.
Mobilization alone, $48 million.
We're talking about a
multi-purpose dam.
A project that is worth 993 million. And the mobilization is supposed to be around 20% from GOG and the rest by the company.
Right.
So they were paid that amount of money, and now the contract has been terminated. So we'll come back in this studio in the next 3-4 months to talk about the destruction of the farms and houses of people in Northeast and Upper East when the people of Burkina Faso opened their Bagre Dam. So I think these are things that we shouldn't play a lot of politics with it. This is a matter of development. If really these people had access to these tomatoes in Ghana, they will not travel up there. You see, they do not really travel to only Ouagadougou. I'm told between our border to where they were shot, it is over 600 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
They will have to travel through Ouagadougou and go to the other end to buy these tomatoes from. When we can do that in this country. So I am urging the government that the Yeridua project, they should really actualize it. The lunch is becoming too much. They will tell you of lunch Ejumaura, of lunch codes, of lunch all these things. You, the media, sometimes I blame you too. You don't do the follow-up. Last year, the president launched the National Codes program in April. And when you check the budget that was read by the Honorable Atufosin, he said they have only trained 848 people. When they said they will do 1 million within 4 years. And when you check the actual release,
4 years.
Yes, when you check the actual release, out of 100 million, he didn't release even one city. Kofi Annan ICT Center has been training people. I'm sure you've gone there to cover story. They've got some counterpart fundings to train people on these things. These are the numbers he aggregated and put it out that they have trained them. Then his budget gave him out because the budget did not release state an amount of money that was released. You understand? So the launches of these programs are becoming too many. The media
will argue that you are also commissioning.
Yeah, we did commissioning of hospitals. One is in Drobonso, one is in Fomena, one is in Kumau. These are commissioning of projects.
So they're also launching projects that will be followed through.
Exactly. But you see, when you launch a program that you think you will want to follow through, a program like CODES, you've budgeted 100 million and you launch it in April. You said you will train 1 million in 4 years.
In 4 years.
So it means within every year, at least 250,000. And you're not able to even train even 1,000. You are left with 3 years to go. So let's assume that indeed within the 3 years they will. So the budgetary allocation, why is it that it didn't go? So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that onion and tomatoes shouldn't be a problem in this country. I come from the Sechere area. When you go to Kumau, at a point in time when the people of Kumau did not even have potable water to drink, they produce tomatoes that can feed the entire Ashanti region. Because during the rainy season, you can still produce all the tomatoes you want. Look at Asante Achim. At a point in time, the MP had to go and beg the president for them to say, go and buy that tomatoes. This is just about 3 months ago. Go and buy the tomatoes so that... But you see, the problem with ours is that ours here that we plant in the south, it's like, it doesn't... The lifespan on the shelves is just about 1 week, 2 weeks. But the one in the northern region, which goes through to the Burkina Faso, it can last for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And that's the reason they will want to go and buy that one and bring it here, because even those buying will cherish those ones, which we can plant them over there. So implement and actualize your idea so that at least we'll be able to really have these things.
Back to you.
My brother Awal failed to sympathize with the victims and the families of those who have lost their lives.
He expressed condolences to them.
He has failed to recognize that we are in a state of mourning and has started his propagandist approach. This is uncalled for and this is unfortunate. Going forward, this tragedy shows and demonstrated the reason why we need a strong border relations and why Ghana needs to strengthen our security apparatus. As I said earlier on, we cannot prevent cross-border trade.
True.
And the fact that Ghanaians are trading outside, we have to ensure that their safety is guaranteed. And so what we need now is strong diplomacy and regional security, not shouting matches like my brother is doing.
But he suggested a number of things.
Going forward, you see,
increasing local production.
In as much as we cannot prevent cross-border trade, government is also putting measures in place to ensure that the economy is strong, so that business in Ghana will thrive, so that it will prevent majority of our citizens from going outside to trade. They made a litany of promises. Majority of them, they have failed. In the agricultural sector, they performed abysmally.
Really?
They performed abysmally.
Planting for food and jobs.
Planting for food and jobs.
Planting for food and jobs too.
Oh, you as a VG, that planting for food and jobs was a hoax. It was more or less something like a mirage. It didn't happen. They used it to deceive Ghanaians. Before they launched it, were we planting for food and football? We were planting for food and jobs. Ghanaians were already farming, but they use it as a cosmetic political tool to deceive Ghanaians. It didn't happen. One district, one factory. I come from the Upper West region. None of the districts has these factories.
You mentioned one village, one dam.
One village, one dam. We only see those dams on the roads.
Dugouts.
Which John Dramani Mahama is covering up through the big push project.
Are you referring to portals as the dams?
Yes. the dams found their way on our major roads.
Wow.
For instance, for the past 8 years, if you, apply the route from Wa to Wenchi, my brother, you will weep for Ghana. You think as if the north is not part of Ghana, as if we don't contribute to national development, we don't pay taxes. They left that road in a very deplorable state for 8 good years. Today, go to that road, you will see morning, day and night, the big push project introduced by no other person than the nation builder, His Excellency Napobakole John Dramani Mahama, is investing massively on the road. I personally went there and I can share with you some of the videos for you to play for viewers to see. If you go to a community called Bomboduri in the Savannah region, you will see Marapuma, machines, tools, everything there, and they have started the road construction. If you come to a community called Carpenter in the Savannah region, there's another construction firm. I went there and interviewed the project coordinator, and he assured me that within 2 years, that road from that stretch, Wenchi Wa Bole Road, will be completed and asphalted, and it will give us a world-class road. This is from the big push project promised by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and he's delivering it. When these roads are done, it will reduce cost of production because and the transportation costs and all those things. Reduce the the cost on spare parts because of the bad nature of the roads. The cars broke down on the way. This will boost business, boost transportation, and will prevent some Ghanaians from going outside to work. Now, some went out for greener pastures, and you know that Burkina Faso is one of the largest producers of tomatoes in, if not in Africa, but in the world. And so you cannot prevent Ghanaians from trading with them. However, what are we going to do? And government has already spoken. Government has already, issued a statement and demonstrated our position relative to what happened. And going forward, how we are going to boost agriculture. And the Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoko, has already started innovative ways together with his Deputy Minister, Honorable John Dimelo. So very soon you will see tomato production in Ghana increase to a tremendous level that will prevent Ghanaians from trading in Burkina Faso. So we have reduced the cedi to make sure that business thrives. We have reduced the dollar. We have reduced inflation. When we took it under Mr. Awal's and co, it even risen to a point of 54%.
But you took it at 23.5.
And 2024, but in the regime, it got to about 54% during the regime. We took it from that and we brought it to single-digit inflation.
You took it from 23.5.
Yes, and we brought. I'm saying that during the regime, the 8 years, there was a time it rose up to 54%.
Just 1 month.
That shows how reckless they were managing the economy. That shows how unproductive their system was. So currently, as we speak, I will continue to charter the path of government by sympathizing with the bereaved families and those who lost their lives, and also to assure Ghanaians that whatever Ghana will do, whatever government will do to ensure that there is cross-border security, there is security across borders, and make sure that Ghana or Ghanaians trading outside, their lives matter and they will be protected. We are assuring Ghanaians that going forward, wherever they are traveling to within the sub-Saharan Africa, they should make sure that they liaise with the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Their identity should be very, very paramount to us. We should know where they are, we should know what they are doing, so that we can put measures in place to track them and see possible ways and means of protecting their lives. But if we move across borders without passing through the necessary requirements and something happens to you, it becomes extremely difficult for government to track you. However, what government is doing now, under the leadership of no other person than the competent Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa as Foreign Affairs Minister, we are rest assured that Ghana will continue to protect her citizens. Ghanaian citizens trading outside will be protected. Their life matter, and we'll do everything possible to protect them. And one way of protecting them is ensuring that we have cross-border security tightened, and we align with ECOWAS.
The cross-border security tightening might be a challenge because we know how porous our borders are, and I'm not even sure that we can name all our borders.
Yes.
If you take out Kunungugu, you take out Paga, there are several other routes we used to enter Burkina to and fro. So that might be difficult. However, what we can do might be intelligence sharing between the securities of the two countries.
Exactly. That's when I said we need to strengthen our diplomatic relations and ties. Once that is done, I alluded to the fact that because Burkina Faso is a sovereign nation, we cannot send our police there to enforce their laws. What we can do is to strengthen our relationship with them, negotiate with them, and come out with a lasting solution that will inure to the benefit of all Ghanaians.
So that at least they can communicate to us that, okay, within this period and that period,
exactly,
there is free passage through this particular route.
Okay.
It is safe to trade on this particular lines and not use the other one. At least some level of intelligence sharing between the two countries. But Awal, back to you on local production and increasing yields, because just look at the front page of BNFT. Annual tomato imports hit 760 million cedis, and this is tomatoes that can grow anywhere in this country. So look at Akumadan. You just mentioned the Kumawu in the such area. So why are we having this challenge at this time?
Thank you so much. But before that, he has introduced a lot of topics.
briefly, yes. so we don't digress.
My second wife is from Wa, so I know the place very well, and I also, as a politician, I move that to and fro. That stretch between Wa and Wenchi was constructed by President Kufuor. This is where President Mahama became MP for 12 years. What did he do? The road didn't deteriorate in the last 8 years. It deteriorated over time. President Kufuor constructed it. So it's even a shame that Bolly Bamboy is reeling under a rough road, so to speak. So if you're doing something over there, it's commendable, because at least who travel by road instead of going by air if you want to go to Wa. Because if you are in Kumasi and you want to go to Wa and you want to fly, you have to come to Accra before you can fly to Wa. And that's difficult. You understand? Because coming to Accra too is also another nightmare because of the way the road is and so on. So it is not really something that you say, well, you did it, it got deteriorated, then we left it like that. Kufuor did that stretch. And you are now coming to also do it. So it's not, this is a place where from Wenchi, it is only Wenchi that we have held that seat for some time. Now you've taken it for 2 terms. From that stretch up to Wa, we've never won any of that seats. Any of that seats. Sola Karba, Bolly Bamboy, West, right?
You won West.
Yeah, we won West once. That was in 2016.
Oh, you won it twice.
Twice, right? Yes. Yeah, that's true.
2016, 2024.
Yes.
No, 2024. They haven't won it.
They lost.
Yeah, we lost it.
Right.
You understand? So when you check, that is it. Again, you see, when you talk about inflation, I feel sad that these are the comments. I'm happy that you have been able to correct him that they took it at 23.5. You see, we did 2 years of single digit inflation and the average was 7.9 between April 2018 and March 2019. Sustained single digit inflation.
But that's 1 year.
We entered, yes, 1 year.
That's
2 years. 2 years. Within
2018, 2019.
Yes, 2 years. Months. Calculate the months. It's 2 years. 24 months of sustained
single digit
inflation. And we entered 2022 with 13.9. January 2022, it was 13.9, and that was the highest since we took it 15.4 in 2016. In 2017, we took it 15.4 in January 2017, and the highest we recorded up to 2022 was 13.9. In February, today they accept that indeed external or exogenous factors can affect the economy. In February, Russia-Ukraine hit. After it hit, it came with high inflation figures, to the extent that UK went to 40-year high. US, same. Even Burkina Faso moved from 1.5 to around 11%. UK had to change 3 prime ministers within that 2022. So Ghana moved and got to 54% in December, and that was the only month that we had 54. We put measures into places by tightening the monetary policy, because you see, at the point in time when our inflation was on a single digit, we had to bring the monetary policy by Bank of Ghana to 13.5. Today they are even celebrating 15.5. We need 13.5 in this country. So we started tightening it so that we'll make sure that we can control the inflation within the country. And we're able to do that. In April 2024, IMF predicted that 2025 will end in single digits. This is the IMF document. That says that in 2020, if we are to follow through what we were doing from 2022, it will end in single digit. You followed through. You did well because it was just anchored with the IMF program. You did it and you beat what the IMF said. Yeah. IMF said it will be around 8%. It ended 5.4. But when you strike the average for the year, it is 11. Yes, in 2025, the average for the year is 11.8 or so. Because you started 23 and ended 5.0. When you strike the average, that is it. So you see, inflation within 1 year, you don't jubilate over it. Today, we're talking about inflation is low. The exchange rate is relatively stable because I've seen it has moved to 10.9 just yesterday. But it's relatively stable. But unfortunately, electricity, we're paying 28% cumulative. But when PURC brings in their report and tell you the reasons why we will have to pay higher, they cite inflation and exchange rate. Today, these factors are down, but we're paying higher. Today, we'll talk about cocoa, right?
Yeah.
You can't even bail cocoa farmers. I mean, an economy that we're told is robust. We'll come to that. But you see, that is it. So, when you look at the tomatoes, as I said, I told you, even in my first submission, that it is really unconscionable for us to be importing onion and tomatoes. Onion, we import it from Niger. Niger, access to potable water to drink is not up to 20%. But these are the people who produce onion for us to go and buy and come and sell in this country. When they had the issues of political instability, onion prices skyrocketed in this country. And that was the reason, at a point in time, just at the twilight of our administration, you heard Brian Champon saying that his focus as agreement, that his focus is on vegetables. And that was the reason that informed the NDC to even write in their manifesto that they will bring in what they call the Yeridria.
Was it not the dry spell that was destroying farms?
The dry spell was destroying a lot of the maize farms and not vegetables. Yes, it was maize. That was the reason at a point in time we had to even buy maize and cushion some people. It was not. It has nothing to do with the vegetables. The vegetables, you know, within 2-3 months, they are ready for them to do. So, I am saying, not being overly partisan, that we in this country will have to take the bull by the horn. The NDC promised something, and I think it's a good thing that they promised, that they will make sure that they will scale up the production. They should redeem the promise that they gave to the people of Upper East and Northeast, that the Polugu multipurpose dam will be completed under him. That was what the president promised them. Even if it is the first phase, so that we can harvest that water and do all year round farming. The same species of tomatoes that they plant in Burkina Faso, we plant same around the Garu, Navrongo area, that we can still sell it to the people of this country. Yesterday, I even heard one of the traders. She said initially they were not even going to Burkina Faso when they started that trade. They started from Bolga, so they call it the Bolga tomatoes. That was how we call it here, the Bolga tomatoes. Until at a point in time they couldn't really get the volumes they want. That was when they started entering. You see, securing our borders, as my friend has said, Ghana is one of the countries in the sub-region that has secured our borders to the extent that when you check the aggression, almost all the African countries surrounding us had been affected. President Akufo-Addo made sure that he did high investment on the borders. 2 months ago, over 40 military people with tanks, ammunitions, and so on came into your region. Farmers told the military that there are people like that and they suspect that they are these jihadis and so on. Our military were able to apprehend all of them without any casualty. They were able to apprehend all of them until the Burkina Faso president called to say that indeed they are military people who had lost their way. But our farmers were able to do that. You understand? They gave the
information to the military.
You remember when the national security lunch, if you see something, say something. So the numbers were there. So the farmers in the farm called the military people. They were able to apprehend. This is 2 months ago. They apprehended them and later they were released because these are there. The only thing is that the thing didn't happen on the border. It happened mid-town. So that is the reason it will be difficult for you to say our military will be able to really secure them. The only thing is that Bevolate will have to come in so that at least, as you said,
as
information, information and other things will be shared with these people. Not necessarily having to say that you have to report yourself. Those who are going for trading do not have time. We've been to Dubai with people. The moment they get down, they will not even look for where the consular or the embassy is.
But if you formalize the trade and the channels of the trade
is
then
even
at least
formalized.
There's information.
The trade is formalized. The only thing is that they will have to share a lot of information because when they go to buy, they enter, they buy, they come, they pay everything, and there are no restrictions entering and coming out and so on. The only thing they need now is their leadership getting information from our envoy over there, who will be able to liaise with the people. You cannot blame the Burkina Faso presidency or the government because these are people who had come and were killing men. And they are not the military over there. These are people who had come and they were killing men and sparing women. They felt that the men were enemies to them and so on. So that is why I'm saying that if information is given, it will help them. They'll know that these are places you don't go. It is only in Ghana that we don't hear these things. UK, US, and so on. When you go, the travel advisory, they even publish them.
True.
That these are countries that don't go within this period. If you're going, be safe. Don't go to areas like this. The UK and US advisory on Ghana is saying that their tourists shouldn't go to Baku. Is there? You understand? And some few other areas when they are even entering Ghana. So this is something that we should also do. At least the Foreign Affairs Ministry. I am surprised that it's the Interior Minister who is even speaking to these things. I was expecting the Foreign Affairs Ministry to speak to these.
Well, he would deal with the diplomatic aspects.
You have,
but the Interior Minister, of course, will come in because there are security matters.
He is supposed to secure only internally. He's the Interior Minister. The Foreign Affairs Minister has a representative there. There is a Burkina Faso embassy there. The ambassador is supposed to go to the place. I'm told he's been charged to go there. But the ambassador is supposed to go there. And the envoy is supposed to liaise with them so that the Foreign Affairs Ministry is giving us information. The information Muntaka is giving us can be best described as hearsay.
Really?
Yeah, because you see,
he's Interior Minister. He gets all the intelligence.
In Ghana, he's Interior in Ghana, not over there.
But he will
the only person who will get us the right information is the ambassador over there, and the ambassador is yet to go there. By the information we receive, the ambassador will go there with the people to really check whether indeed they are even our nationals, and that's the reason they said they will do the DNA and some few other things.
But that has been established.
Yes,
that has been established. That Ghanaian traders were involved and Ghanaian
survivors. There are survivors. The women had been able to really identify them, even by names and so on. So condolences to the family, and the government must be up and doing and giving information to the people of this country.
Kotia, wrap up your
please, a quick one. My brother Awal has made certain striking revelations which will be unfair if I don't respond to them. Notably among them is the fact that he has, informed the general public and has concluded that because the NPP government and their MPs doesn't win along the Wenchi-Wa stretch, that's the reason why they have neglected that road.
That's your reference.
I listen to you carefully. Please,
those were not his words.
He was responding to my statement.
On the state
when
of the road.
I spoke about the big push project, where John Dramani Mahama is revamping and reconstructing that stretch of the road. And he was responding by saying that road, NPP MPs doesn't win.
NPP
constructed.
It
was even constructed. I'll come there.
And I'm telling you,
I understood perfectly what you said.
No.
I understood perfectly. If you allow me, please. If you allow me.
Sure.
If you allow me. It was me who informed you that you won Wa East.
Yeah.
I was the one who informed you that you won Wa East.
That's true.
So you cannot sit here and say that because you haven't won a seat along that stretch, You have deliberately neglected that road for 8 years.
No, Kotia, you are inferring.
Mr. Awal is speaking like his mentor, Nana Akufo-Addo.
You are inferring.
He's speaking like his mentor. You recall that Nana made a similar statement in the Volta region.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
You recall that Nana made a similar statement in the Volta region.
Let's be fair.
So
let's be fair. No, Kotia, hold on.
You allow Mr. Awal to flow.
Hold on. I'll allow you. Just hold on.
With a lot of
Let's hold on. Just hold on. Let's clarify. Let's clarify this.
Okay.
Let's clarify it. What he said is that Kufuor constructed that stretch of road.
I will even come there.
And he went on to say
yes,
that NDC has won seats along that stretch over a period. And you even mentioned that
even the
president being
MPC there
for that area at a point in time. He did not say that because the NPP does not win seats there. No, he just put out the fact.
Awal. You see,
no,
his statement was very clear. His statement was very clear.
You are interpreting his words to mean what
throughout war.
Right. So please carry on. At least we've made that clear. So please carry on.
I am situating it to the fact that his mentor made a similar statement in the Volta region that they don't vote for the NPP, and for that matter, development will not come there. That is what Awal said. That is what I understood.
The same thing here.
That is what I.
So that is your understanding of what he's saying.
Akufo-Addo didn't even say that.
That's what to even say that Kufuor considered that road is a fallacy.
Really?
This is a joint effort by the Rawlings government and the Kufuor government.
No, that's not
you cannot say Kufuor solely constructed the road from Wenchi to Wa. That is fallacious. That statement is untrue.
Very well.
It's untenable.
Well.
And then
the road we have today was constructed by Kufuor.
From 2009 to 2016, that road has seen significant maintenance. It was only after the NPP took over in 2016 up to 2024 that nothing has been done to that stretch of the road. And Awal said it's because they don't vote for their MPs. Now, the Palugu multi-purpose dam, this is a dam that is situated within the Walawale enclave.
Yeah.
The area where our former vice president comes from.
It's not close to Walawale.
Palugu Dam is not closer to Walawale.
Palugu Dam is in Talensi constituency.
It's in the north.
It is in Talensi.
It is in the north.
That's Talensi.
It is in the north.
Upper East,
but it's not. Is it the north?
Bawumia pride himself as a northerner. Even if it was in Wa, even if it is in Wa, but it's closer to Walawale. Why is closer to Walawale? We are talking about a northerner who went and promised northerners to construct the Palugu multi-purpose dam after spending a whooping $12.9 million. We just saw a hole. I don't know the relationship between NPP and holes. You spend billions of dollars in cathedral and gave it the most expensive pit. You went to Palugu multi-purpose dam. Bawumia went there and promised northerners.
True.
That dam is not serving the talented people alone. It's going to serve the entire north.
Yeah.
So it is for our collective benefit. You went there, promised them, lied to them, and today the money sank
in a hole.
In the hole. Cannot be traced. Cannot be traced. I want her to tell us the relationship between them, their government and holes. So going forward, and he spoke about coders. Today, if you go to the Ministry of Communication, you will understand that about 200,000 coders have been earmarked for training.
Okay.
And the fact that nothing is done, as alluded by Mr. Awal, is neither here nor there. Going forward, what we are saying is that any reasonable government, any responsible government cannot, and by this I'm talking about he said IMF predicted that we get a single-digit inflation by the end of the year.
Follow through what we're doing from.
And I am telling Mr. Awal that if you don't manage your fiscals very well, if there is no fiscal discipline in your country, if you engage in reckless borrowing, if you engage in reckless expenditure, unnecessary expenditure, and you throw monies into areas that they are not supposed to go, you cannot achieve it.
True.
The NDC was able to achieve it because we are fiscally disciplined, the economy was being managed well. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ensures that all facets of the economy, all ministries, abide by the tenets of our rules to ensure that the economy thrives. We will not venture into areas that will deteriorate this country. Bro. So, if you were given under your regime, even if the IMF was predicted it, but you couldn't achieve it because of the reckless way you were spending, because of the profligacy, the naked display of opulence and extravagance was too much. So we are happy we are in a system led by His Excellency Napoba Kole na John Dramani Mahama, who continue to ensure
what was
that
the title again?
Napoba Kole na
Napoba Kole na.
Napoba Kole na. You know, Napoba Kole is a Wala name.
Okay.
If you come to the Upper West region, the one now bestowed on His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that title, the Napoba Kole na, which means is that yes,
okay,
there used to be water problems in Wa, and the only place you can go and get water is a place called Napoba Kole. So once there is water shortage in Wa, people will go there. It's like a stream. They will get water there to draw and go and do their domestic chores. So when John Dramani Mahama came and brought us the Jambus Water Project to the Upper West region, which puts more than 10,000 gallons of water per day, and was able to solve the water crisis that has been there for ages, the one thought it wise to bestow on him Napoba Kole, the man who has come to solve the water problem. So if you hear of Napoba Kole, know that he's talking about the water problem that John Dramani Mahama solved together with his MPs, together with people like Dr. Rashida Mpelepo, Dr. Honorable Speaker, Alban Sumanikis for Bagbing, and the 11 MPs in the Upper West region who all contributed in ensuring that John Dramani Mahama solved the water problem. Now, if you go to every community in Wa, we have the Jambos water projects running through their types, and we have baths, showers, and all those things. So this is a revelation that is, I mean,
it's good. It's good education for us. Not
so
many.
We came to complete it. So
which program?
Yes,
the Jambos.
Yes.
You see,
who even inaugurated October 2017.
You see, they refuse to acknowledge people's contribution. When I was talking about it was John Rawlings who gave Upper West a region. You think he gave Upper West a region without investing in our road network? So you cannot sit here and say it was Kufuor that constructed the Wachi road.
The stretch we see today.
That is a joint contribution. John Rawlings started it. Kufuor came and continued.
Rawlings didn't open that road. It was
it continued.
It was
Buzia
who opened that road.
Let's make progress.